Kim, thank you. Good evening and welcome to all of you. I'm delighted to be back. This is the third time I've had the opportunity to host this event. And I discovered very quickly that it's a special evening. I know many of you have been here before, and I think you'll understand what I mean by this. Those of you who are joining us for the first time will understand very quickly. It's a unique evening because it's an evening of celebration. We are celebrating the successes that have taken place in the last few years as we attempt to fight this insidious disease. We are celebrating a number of heroes, a number of people who deserve to be applauded, and we will do that tonight. Most important, we're celebrating hope. Because each year that we come back, we're able to talk with each other and talk with people who are involved in this battle and realize that progress is being made. So it's a night of celebration, but it's also a night of remembrance. Because all of us in this room have in some way, shape, or form been touched by this terrible disease. We remember those who aren't with us, and we remember just how much is left for us to do. So that's why it's such a unique evening and a special evening. What's always interesting in these gatherings, and I'm sure you've all felt this at some point in time, you're in a room as we are here, and we're surrounded by people who are on the front lines of this battle. There are researchers here with us tonight. There are scientists. There are people who are involved in the companies that are on the front lines of this battle. There are physicians here doing this. This is where I get the opportunity to exhibit parental pride, since I have the microphone, and mention that one of those physicians is my daughter, who's a cancer surgeon, Dr. Ashley Ford Haggerty. Doesn't make any difference how old they are. They're always your baby girl, and you always have to say something nice about them. But for those of us who are none of those things, doctors, researchers, scientists, for those of us who are none of those things, there's always a sense of first of all, humility and also a sense of frustration. Because we say, well, what can we do? We've all been affected by this, but what can we really do? And the answer is actually quite simple. President Teddy Roosevelt was once asked by a private citizen, what can I do? You know, I'm not a politician. I'm not an important person. What can I do? And his answer was, you can do whatever you can, wherever you are, with whatever you have. And that's what each and every one of you being here tonight has the ability to do. You can do a great deal in this battle. And we're going to ask you to do that during the course of the evening. Let me talk a little bit about why you're here and the cancer support community. You heard from Kim much of what's being done. The organization, and this a lot of people don't understand, provides services and support completely free to literally thousands of people, patients and family members, those who are close to them. And they do this to the tune of about $45 million worth of these free services in the last year alone. Also, the organization working to transform that patient experience for the good of all of those who are touched by cancer, who need to live with those who are suffering from cancer. That's why we're here. And that's the good that each and every one of you can do by joining us this evening. Now, we have an interesting evening. As I said, we're going to applaud a lot of people here, and it's always a lot of fun to do that. We're going to mention a number of our heroes throughout the course of this evening. I want to start with one who is absolutely one of my favorite people. Medal of Honor recipient Colonel Jack Jacobs, here with his wife Sue. Jack, stand for a moment if you would, please. You know, in times of uncertainty, if you're looking for a hero, Google Colonel Jack Jacobs, Medal of Honor winner, and you'll be astonished by what he did and continues to do. Jack, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And talk about people we're applauding. One more time, Stephanie Block, please. How good is she? How good is she? And you're going to get to hear how good she is a little bit later, so don't go anywhere. I want to recognize a number of people here. First, the co-chairs of tonight's event. Through the wonderful support of these individuals, this will be, as it always is, a memorable evening. So I'm going to ask Nick Baker, Bruce Edelin, Sherry Scott, please stand wherever you are for our appreciation. Over here, over there. Thank you again, folks, for a wonderful job this evening. Also, want to thank the entire benefit committee for their work in ensuring this evening's success. A lot of work goes into this, as you might imagine, and we thank all of them for doing what they did. Especially want to thank and recognize the board of directors of the cancer support community, many of them in the room with us tonight. Busy preparing. A number will be there for the board meeting, going to be held early tomorrow morning. Obviously, their ongoing commitment, continued hard work throughout the year builds the foundation, the success of this organization. All of you board members, again, please stand if you would. The President's Council is a group of seasoned professionals who support the work of the cancer support community in many, many ways. I know we have a few members of the President's Council here this evening. Bill Bermond is here. Lynn Hennessian is here. If you both stand for me, please, also, for our thanks. And finally, but as important, the Young Leadership Council. Fairly new part of the organization, a group of young professionals who have dedicated their time, their treasure, and their talent to this organization. You may have interacted with some of them earlier this evening. If you're a current or a former member of the Young Leadership Council, I'm going to ask you to stand also, if you would, please, for our thanks. Sometimes making introductions can be more enjoyable than others. This is one of them for me, because it's somebody that I know and have an enormous amount of respect for. It's my pleasure to present the first award of the evening, which is the Founders Award for Spirit, and it goes to Hoda Kotb. Hoda, as I'm sure you know, is the co-host of the 4th hour of NBC's Today. She began hosting the 10 a.m. hour when it debuted back in September of 2007. She currently hosts alongside Kathie Lee Gifford. They are a magnificent tandem. If you haven't watched it, you should, because it's immensely enjoyable in so many ways, so many different levels. Hoda also has been a Dateline NBC correspondent for many, many years and has done so much in the journalism world. She's a New York Times best-selling author for her 2 books, one called Hoda, How I Survived War Zones, Bad Hair, Cancer, and Kathie Lee. It is as good as the title suggests, I promise you, so read it. And her second one is called 10 Years Later, 6 People Who Faced Adversity and Transformed Their Lives. One of the things that I can say to Hoda is this. In our business, in the television news business, probably the greatest compliment one can give to another is to call them a real journalist. And Hoda is indeed a real journalist. A real journalist who also knows how to have a good time, which is quite important if you watch that hour. And I'm going to mention this, and I apologize, darling, for doing this for you, but if any of you have seen the most recent edition of People magazine, the 100 Most Beautiful People, Hoda, deservedly so, is well within that issue of one of the most beautiful. But here's what we celebrate with her tonight. We celebrate the beauty of her spirit. Hoda is a 7-year breast cancer survivor, has been a part of several initiatives to raise awareness about the disease. She works very hard. She rarely says no to anybody who asks her. So Hoda, the organization believes that your consistent and steadfast dedication, not only to the nonprofit community, but specifically to those touched by cancer, merits special appreciation. We consider you a cornerstone of the cancer support community, and for this reason, we are delighted and honored to present you with the Founders Award for Spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, Hoda Kotb. Hoda, thank you. As we move along here, some of you may know about this. The Humor, Heart, and Hope documentary was produced by the award-winning Jim Watson of the Heartland Media Foundation. Now, the goal of the project is to highlight the ways in which levity and laughter and humor can empower people touched by cancer. First shown in a private screening for CSC affiliate leaders, it is an intimate, moving, and unexpectedly funny representation of 6 women who bravely open their lives and share their unique experiences along that cancer journey. From diverse backgrounds with various diagnoses, they provide a candid and evocative look at the impact of cancer. Now, the original documentary is about 30 minutes long, with a number of interviews, jokes, and stories. What we've done is to condense it to a special 4-minute version that we think you will enjoy this evening. Please watch.
My name is Yvonne Fleming. I'm a comedian. I'm also a survivor. Humor is a huge part of my life. I try to see the funny side of everything. I believe that on the other side of all pain is humor. You just have to find it.
Hey, how are you? You look good. And she's like, oh, I could be. You want to feel them? That's okay, I can got my own.
My husband was next door and caregivers, and we were in support group. And every once in a while he would say, what are you laughing about? You guys have cancer. You're always laughing. Every week you guys laugh. And it's like, yeah.
So our adventure started, and it's been nothing but the roller coaster ride. And one of the neat things about this roller coaster is that you can stand up and scream on this one.
I didn't want to burden my family with everything that I was so scared about, and that I found the cancer support community. Felt like it was a safe place that I could go and I didn't have to put on my smile before I went.
On our first night there, we were greeted with hugs and just warmth, and it was great not to feel alone. Now they are part of my family.
We don't go and sit around with a box of tissues and cry. We sort of came with our problems and left with tools to work on the problems that we had come with.
I'm going to sidle up to everything that I'm afraid of.
It's comforting to know that somebody else has been through it. That when you say something in group or to somebody else, a lot of different heads are nodding.
I didn't have to go down this dark tunnel and kind of feel my way through. Someone was constantly shining a light.
There's so much to do at the cancer support community.
When you have to be poked and your veins are not cooperating, you have to go to a happy place. And these workshops help you find that happy place and stay there.
There was a CD, affirmations that you will get through this. And the first time I popped it in, I just wept because it was bingo.
It's such a beautiful space. It's comfortable. You can go into the kitchen, make yourself a cup of tea, grab a couple pretzels, and it's like you're at home.
In my support group right now, the friendships that we've made and the knowledge that we've gained and some of the laughs that we've had, it's not worth it to have cancer, but we wouldn't give them back.
I am so grateful the cancer support community has been there for me and will hopefully continue to be there for everyone that needs it.
My mother did not have any of that. She had 5 friends, and she was the only one to have cancer. And she really did not have anybody else to talk to other than her doctors. And when I see what happens here, it's just terrific.
The resources, the classes, sort of occupied your time. Because when you have a cancer diagnosis, guess what you think about all day? And what the community allowed me to do was focus on other people, you know, to see outside of me. I love the community.
Once again, the documentary is entitled Humor, Heart, and Hope. Make sure you see it. Now, we tend as a society to define ourselves by numbers. Let me give you some numbers that are fairly breathtaking and startling. In the year 2014, over 1.6 million people in America will be diagnosed with cancer. That's over 4,500 people who hear those words that Hoda mentioned, you have cancer, every single day. In just 5 years, we're told that that number is going to rise to 2 million. Indeed, we are told that 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women in America will be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their lifetimes. We talked before about the frustration. What do we do? Well, here's what you do. Tonight, you do it. You've seen what an amazing difference the cancer support community can make in the work that they have been doing and continue to do. Tonight, you can make your difference by helping us out with some contributions. I want to note for you, someone who knows the real value of CSC's work, a man by the name of Raj Montana. And what Raj has done is he has offered to match every dollar that is raised tonight, dollar for dollar, no limit. So now Raj can't be with us, but we are so delighted and so pleased and honored that he would make this contribution. So remember, dollar for dollar, no limit, matched by Raj, what we raise tonight. And here's how you're going to do it. We're going to text us. The instructions are on the back of your program. Just text the word celebrate along with an amount, plus any message you might want to send, and your name to 41444. And no amount is too small. And by the way, no amount is too large. Keep that in mind. So we're going to ask you to do that and to jump on during the course of the evening, remembering that every dollar you pledge is going to be doubled. And I think, I'm not sure if our high-tech screen can show it or not, but I think we have our first text coming in from our CEO, Kim. First text in. So we're going to challenge all of you to do what we said before. Remember we talked about whatever you can, with whatever you have, wherever you are, it's tonight. Right now, text. Thank Raj for helping us out with it. Meantime, what we're going to do while you're all busy texting, a reminder, the silent auction is going to close at 8:30 this evening, so if you want to take a look at what's going on there, defend some of your bids, now would be a good time to do it. We're going to step away for a quick break, let you enjoy your dinner, and we'll be back to continue our evening. See you in a little while.
Our master of ceremonies for the evening, Mr. Jack Ford.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're enjoying your evening. How about a round of applause for all the folks here at the Lighthouse for the wonderful work that they're doing. A reminder for you. You can see what's going on with the texting. 2 reminders. Reminder first that to do it, you text the word celebrate along with a dollar amount plus any message you want to leave and your name, and you text it to 41444. Right? And just remember, thanks to Raj, each and every dollar is going to be matched indeed dollar for dollar. I mentioned when I had the pleasure of introducing Hoda that one of the great compliments, I think the best compliment anybody in my business can give to another is to call them a real journalist. And our next honoree is indeed a real journalist. I'm thrilled that I get a chance to introduce 2 of them here tonight because in my business there are not that many of them around left anymore. Many of you have watched the cancer journey of Jennifer Griffin, national security correspondent for Fox News Channel. Jennifer diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer on September 28th of 2009. Now in February 2010, and it's an interesting intersection of our honorees this evening, in February 2010, Jennifer sat down with Hoda Kotb and talked about her cancer diagnosis and her journey. Let's take a look at it. As you can tell, that is indeed a real journalist. Jennifer currently serves as national security correspondent for Fox News Channel. She joined them back in 1999 as a Jerusalem-based correspondent. Her recent work ranges from stories including the shooting at the Navy Yard in Washington, D.C., to the 2013 NSA leaks involving the former NSA government contractor, Edward Snowden. In addition to her work with Fox and co-authoring a book with her husband, Jennifer has dedicated countless hours to advancing the awareness of and participation in numerous causes related to cancer, empowering men and women alike. Indeed, a champion. Ladies and gentlemen, for her work, her inspiration, her ongoing dedication, we are honored this evening to have the recipient of this year's Founders Award for Empowerment, Jennifer Griffin. Here's the last thought about Jennifer and Hoda. We tend nowadays to toss the term hero around fairly casually. And I think what we've learned in the last decade or so, and what we learned from stories like Jennifer's and Hoda's, is here's the real definition of a hero. Ordinary person, when confronted with the great crises of their lives, find themselves capable of doing extraordinary things. And if you look at what Jennifer has done and what Hoda has done, I think we can all agree that that is indeed, Jennifer and Hoda, indeed the definition of heroes. And again, we have another champion to honor this evening. Celgene is a global biopharmaceutical corporation committed to changing the course of human health through bold pursuits in science, life-enhancing therapies, and a promise to always put patients first. Whether they are helping people obtain their medications, leveraging cutting-edge scientific technology to discover new treatments, or addressing unmet needs for underserved cancers, Celgene's approach to improving the lives of people with cancer takes courage and innovative thinking. For their unwavering commitment and passion, the cancer support community is pleased to honor them with the Founders Award for Innovation. And accepting the award on behalf of Celgene tonight is Mark Alice, Executive Vice President, Global Head of Hematology and Oncology, the Founders Award for Innovation. Mark, thank you. I got to tell you a quick story. Earlier this evening, I met Mark, and we were talking about some of the things that Celgene is doing and some of the other organizations, the companies here. And he said he wanted to meet my daughter when I told him what she was doing. So I put the two of them together, and I was there, and they got involved in this very animated and stimulating conversation. They were talking about 10 or 15 minutes. I didn't understand a word. And I thought, I'm a college graduate, I'm a lawyer, I've got half a dozen honorary degrees. Not one word. Fortunately, they occasionally tossed in an and a but, otherwise I would have been shut out. But what it did is it underscored the notion of how humbling this is, but also said to me, we talk about the hope and how thankful we are that so many of you in this room understand the conversation that they had and are living your lives based upon those conversations. So frustrating, but we thank all of you for all of the work that you're doing here. Time for our final award of the program this evening. We are delighted that we're joined by two tireless friends and advocates of CSC, John Wind and Robin Cook from Maximal Art. Maximal Art is an internationally known company which is engaged in charitable projects for the last 25 years. In addition to the trunk show many of you have been enjoying this evening, John and Robin have created a signature, John Wind for CSC, line of jewelry inspired by the Tree of Life. John Wind for the Cancer Support Community Jewelry Collection has been a leading asset for this organization. I know that because John became my best buddy earlier tonight when my wife and daughter decided to visit what he was doing over there. John, where are you? You're right over there, yes. More precisely, my wife and daughter, John became their best buddy afterwards. The collection signature jewelry is not only one of a kind and beautiful, but as we said, it helps to raise awareness of the cancer support community's mission. We talked earlier about you do what you can. John and Robin have done much more than that, taking their own genius and their own talents and dedicating so much of it to helping this organization. So for their generosity and their commitment, we are delighted to honor John Wind and Robin Cook with our Founders Award for Leadership. put the pretty one in the middle. The photographer.
John and Robin. And John's parents are here this evening, and I am so happy to see you. I'm so glad you've joined us. Well, we have had a very full evening, but not quite full enough. Despite what Jack just told you about having delivered all of the awards for the evening, I have just one more to present. I truly cannot express how honored I am to present this individual with the Founders Award for Support. This individual has been a steadfast supporter of the cancer support community for many years now. He has been a consistent part of our spring celebration year after year. He has graciously introduced his family to our mission and has simply been one of our pillars of strength across time. And he has no idea he is receiving this award tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome back to the stage to receive the Founders Award for Support, Jack Ford. I have to ask Jack's family to come up and help me give this award because they were part of this, Jack. They were part of this. Dorothy, Patrick, Ashley, come on up, guys. We have to do this together. Don't be mad at me, Jack.
Remember I talked earlier about humbling? You know, people in this room do real and significant and important things for a living. I talk. Pretty much it. But I must say, and perhaps you've gotten this sense, you know, in my business you're asked to do a lot of things and you get a chance to participate in a number of very rewarding and important organizations. And I've said this to Kim before, in my mind there's nothing more important than this organization and what they do. And each time she asked me, I said, you know, Kim, you don't have to ask me. I'm honored that you would even consider having me be part of this. And I'm certainly way more than honored to receive any sort of recognition. But our thanks go to Kim and the organization and all you people out there that are doing such very good work, as we said, to beat this insidious disease. This is just a little bit of a bonus. Thank you so much.